So you've been told that you can make $1,000 a day dropshipping on Aliexpress. Today we're going to be discussing on No Aim No Gain 6 reasons why this may be unfactual and whether or not you actually consider going down the route of dropshipping via AliExpress. Now you have loads of YouTubers explaining how you can make so much money on AliExpress doing a few bits of work a day, and then all the money starts to flowing in. While the reality is it's a lot more difficult than they make it out to be. Today we're going to be discussing 6 really important factors that you need to really consider and think about before you actually put money down to invest in AliExpress dropshipping. They also mention putting no money down. Well, this is not true. So I'd appreciate if you stick to the end, and you will really learn a lot from this talk today. So be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification for future videos. So the first point that I want to go through is saturation. So they mentioned £1,000 a day. If one person was to make $1,000 a day for one product, and somebody else came in, wouldn't that 1,000 go down to 900? And then as more people start to come in, that $1,000 is going to eventually go down to 10 cents. So the reality is it's not as easy as they make it out to be. So what competitive advantage do you have? What's stopping your competition from listing the same product on their website to generate income from that product? The main issue that is wrong with AliExpress is there are now Chinese sellers that are listing on eBay and Amazon themselves. So they've got physical locations within the UK, US, Australia, New Zealand, or wherever throughout Europe. So they are selling directly to the consumers, and their lead time is practically 2 to 3 days, or even better yet, next day delivery through Amazon FBA channels. So you need to really consider that. What I'm going to be discussing later on is the lead time also. So these Chinese sellers, they can practically sell these products at break even just to get the consumers in. They're not concerned about profit margins. They've got volumes, and because they've got a lot of connections already, they are competitive advantage. Also, you're competing with well-established AliExpress dropshippers, so that's something that you need to consider. They've actually been around the block. They've made all the mistakes. They've lost a lot of money to get where they are today. So this is one thing that you need to really factor in. The second point I wanted to make was this so-called no money down. While the reality is that you need to be putting money down, whether you are going to use Facebook or Google Ads. Now, firstly, going with Facebook, a lot of channels I've seen stating that you only need to spend about $5 a day. This is impossible. You won't get nothing with $5 a day. You need to be spending at least $50 to $100 on ad sets. Basically, what you need to be doing is you need to be experimenting on ad sets, and then you need to really look at what's actually working. You need to do split testing. There's all sorts of different things that you need to look at which performs well, and then you need the ones that ain't doing well, you need to cut the losses and then add to the winners. But end of the day, in order to find out which are doing well, you really need to put money down. The whole point of it is getting data and understanding what works and what doesn't. But the problem with Facebook is, again, it's saturated. And another thing about Facebook, which I've spoken to from digital marketers who are professionally within the industry, is that people go on Facebook to go through their news feeds, just check out what their friends are doing. They're not necessarily going to go onto Facebook to actually buy a product. very rarely percentage is somebody ever going to buy a product on Facebook. If they do, it's merely on the back of impulse purchase. So you really need to consider that. The next advertising channel is Google AdWords. Now with Google AdWords, the most frequently used is Google Shopping. So if you type in a product on Google, and if you look through the across the top, you'll see the different products images from the different retailers. That's Google Shopping feeds. Again, speaking to my digital marketing friend, she's actually mentioned to me that you got lots of large companies that are spending tens of thousands of pounds a month just on finding out data, what works and what doesn't. So considering that, you really need to think about that element. So if you've got a product and somebody else has actually already done their research, who is going to stand out, likely to benefit and get the customers? It's obviously going to be the company that's actually spent thousands on data and understanding consumer purchasing behavior. The next thing is when you're setting up a AliExpress website, the website needs to be of good quality. Again, you need to be doing a lot of testing. You need to do a lot of split testing. So if you have to look at professional websites, and it's not as easy as they make it out to be. Also, the payment checkout, that needs to be of it needs to be of top quality, and a lot of consumers are going to abandon the checkout because basically they don't trust the website. So you need to do a lot of analysis and see why it never worked out. So again, you need to be spending a lot of money on like these softwares to understand the consumer buying patterns and why the consumer may have abandoned the checkout. The next point I wanted to raise is lead time, and this is probably the most important point. Firstly, if something a product you found on AliExpress which has little competition, which you believe has got a good potential to be a winner, most likely you'll see the same product on Amazon or eBay with a lead time of 1 to 2 days, and again Amazon next day delivery. So why on earth is a customer going to wait a maximum of up to 2 weeks when they can get the product the same day, practically, if with some delivery on Amazon? So what makes you differentiates? Why would a customer even consider that? I mean, put yourself in the customer's shoes. You needed a product as soon as possible within the next 2-3 days. Why would you go onto a website and wait 2 weeks for a product when you can get it in practically 2 to 3 days? And another thing is you can probably get it a lot cheaper. Like I mentioned in the first point, with these Chinese sellers selling on Amazon, they are literally practically sell the product for next little to nothing. So these are things that you need to really consider. The cheapest method is e-packet, and even that, it can take a lot of time. You also need to consider chargebacks, which is a big problem. Now, if you don't notify by the checkout process, the time is going to take on how long the customer is going to get their item, then the likelihood of you getting a chargeback is relatively high. So it's like a double-edged sword. You need to tell the customer that it's going to take 7 to 10 days. That's going to put them off from buying from you, so that because they can go to Amazon and just find that same product, because your product's not going to be unique. Let's be honest, unless you've got actually a trademark on the product, which will give you the rights to only sell that, or you got some sort of exclusivity to sell that product. But in reality, you're not. You just want to try the dropshipping model to make money. So you need to put the fact that it'll take about 7 to 14 days, working days, to for the product to arrive. Customer can go straight onto eBay, Amazon, find the product, same product, probably cheaper for 1 to 2 days delivery. Now I don't want to put you down, put you off selling at AliExpress and drop shipping from AliExpress onto your website. But the reality is, you have to factor all these things into consideration. There's a lot of hype on out there telling that you can make this much money, when the reality is it's not as easy as it looks. Now there are actually so how do you go about making money from AliExpress dropshipping? Well, there are one or two retailers that are making a lot of money from AliExpress dropshipping, but the thing is they've actually been doing it for a long time, and they've also got a big audience base. So how do you go about building a big audience base? Well, firstly, you need to be targeting a niche audience. For instance, there's one dropshipping company. They are actually targeting animal lovers. So they'll create posts on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, building a huge audience base. And then what they do is they target products for those animal lovers, on to refer them to the website. Now that building an audience, believe me, takes a long time to do. So that's something that's a sacrifice that you're going to need to do, and that's probably one of the ways that you can actually build a successful AliExpress dropshipping business. Or if you got a big bank account, to put a lot of money down first. So those are the two options. Now, if you do have a winning product, what would be the next stage? Well, the best stage, for instance, if you were making money from one single product that was doing really well, would be maybe looking at buying the product in bulk from Alibaba.com, and then using Amazon Fulfillment Center to for them to sort out all the logistics and the customer service elements for that product. But those are the main two methods if you wanted to overcome AliExpress dropshipping. So look into these 6 points I've mentioned today. Really sit down and look at whether or not it's actually a viable product or business that you want to go down. But in reality, it's not as easy as they make it out to be. If you would like me to go further in how to other methods that you can use for AliExpress dropshipping, then comment below, and I can also discuss Amazon FBA, because I've got a lot of experience with that. So I really appreciate it if you could also subscribe to the channel today, and hit the bell notification, because I will be putting out a lot more videos, not just in relation to AliExpress dropshipping or Amazon.com FBA, but also a lot of different skills and methodologies that you can use for your business and personal life. Thank you very much for watching, and hope you have a nice day.